Hey Waffle Gang, I do hope you're well. My name is Mark and today we're checking out some more relationship stories, and if you do love a Reddit story, why not consider hitting that like, subscribe, maybe that notification bell too. Let's crack on with today's first story. Much love guys. And today's first story is titled, Am I the A-hole for not scheduling an interview for my brother? I, 26 female, am the youngest of 5. My brother Dale, 28 male, has lived with my parents his entire life and has everything spoon-fed to him. We always said that my dad would rush to wipe his ass after taking a dump if he wanted him to. My brother is the epitome of laziness and has no drive in life. As far back as I remember, I was pushed to do my best and never settled for less. I put myself through college. I'm currently working on my master's with no financial help from anyone other than my husband. On to the incident at hand. I was getting ready for work when my dad called and asked me to call a company for my brother to see if they were hiring. I was already a little peeved that I had to do that, but I just called and got confirmation for it. They asked that he send over his resume and then to call to schedule an interview, which could be done on an online portal. I called my dad back to let him know, and he proceeds to ask me to schedule the interview for him, as my brother has been out of work for a month and they needed him to get back to work. I was already running late for work, so I told my dad that I didn't have time, but my brother could schedule it online. My dad went ballistic. Apparently, I was a massive disappointment. I was unmotivated and stupid, etc. And here's where I may be the arsehole. I told my dad that I wasn't Dale's secretary and that he was a grown adult. He didn't need his baby sister holding his hand throughout his life. I said that I was pushed to work my hardest and always strive to raise above my station in life. Why couldn't they do the same to him? His response was, I told you to do it, so fucking do it. Dale and my dad have since told me that I'm disowned and that they never want to see me again. My mum is on my side, but she's trying to stay out of it since she still has to live with them at the end of the day. I'm at my wit's end with being mistreated. Am I the a-hole? Edit. I don't have an update, but the message is telling me that I'm making up the story that I need to commit suicide are like massively weird and odd. I wish this was fake, but this is my life. I'm not going to be butthurt on the internet about you calling my story fake, but the other messages are gross. Please kindly do not send me any private messages. OP provides some additional information regarding the brother and says no developmental or mental delays other than the possibility of having anger issues. He's the only one of the kids that doesn't have any diagnosed mental illnesses. But I'm actually looking into being screened for autism and have for some time. I don't know if that possibly added to my reaction, but they seem to think it did. Another commenter says, if your mother is able to leave this horrible situation, are you able to let her stay with you for a bit? It sounds like she is boxed in by your dad and brother without a voice or any support. OP says, yes, my mum will always have a place with me. Now to me, this one's pretty simple in that you don't need to be looking after Dale at all in this situation, and them telling you that you're disowned and they never want to see you again. I know it sounds harsh because they're your family and you live with them and you probably love them in some capacity, but this may be a good thing for you. Your dad's response into this, saying, I told you to do it, so fucking do it, and all this kind of thing, your dad going ballistic, telling you that he was unmotivated, stupid, etc. I couldn't imagine my dad would have ever spoken to me like that, ever. So it just leaves me with a question. Why would you want these people in your life? But diminishing patience says, not the a-hole. Walk away and never look back. And quotes, my mum is on my side, but she's trying to stay out of it since she still has to live with them. And then says, no, she doesn't. Trickster Stick says, not the a-hole. You're his younger sister and you're both adults. Just because you have your life more put together than his doesn't mean you need to be doing his bidding. If your father is that concerned, then maybe he should be the one applying for jobs and scheduling interviews for your brother. Sir Mittens of the Hill says, not the a-hole. If he's old enough to work without needing working papers, he's plenty old enough to do all of that for himself. If your father wants someone else to do all that for your brother, then he should do it. If your brother has some kind of developmental or mental issue that prevents him from being able to do simple things like that for himself, he needs to be seen, diagnosed, and given the proper treatment so he can function like a normal person. Zoom says, not the a-hole. This is nuts. If your dad is so sure your brother can't do it, then why doesn't your dad just call? Why does he have to have a middleman in this situation? If anyone ever told me to just fucking do it, I can guarantee you that I would not. And one more comment from How Can Be Lounge Lizard, who says, not the a-hole. Your dad is a nutjob who seems incapable of both love and logic. They raise their golden child to be a useless mess and still demand that you do their bidding. Getting disowned sounds like a relief, and you know your brother would already be getting any inheritance anyway, if that's what underlines that threat. And just on the practical matter at hand, why does your dad have the time to call and harass you repeatedly when he could have spent the same amount of time calling the company? Opie then updates the post and says, I've read all your comments and I want to thank you all for enforcing what I guess I knew deep down. As some of you noted, yes, I grew up in a misogynistic and extremely abusive household. It wasn't always emotional or verbal, but it has never gone past verbal in the last decade. My dad has untreated grade 1 bipolar disorder, as well as my oldest brother, not Dale. My dad has unabashedly told my sisters and I time and time again that my brothers are his favorites, but they never do anything for my parents. My sisters and I are the only ones who moved out and got married. My brothers still live with my parents and do not have any successful or healthy relationships / attachments to people in their lives. As far as the comments about my mum, she's not weak. She's one of the strongest people I know. She ended up not staying out of the fight and it ended up in a screaming match, which was what she was trying to avoid to begin with. She has tried to divorce my dad before, but he has her so extremely sheltered after they were married that she doesn't know how to be on her own and would not have the resources to support herself. It is way more complicated than I'm comfortable getting into. She and I had a long talk yesterday about what happened. She broke down crying and apologizing for not removing my siblings and I from such an environment when we were younger, and that she wishes she would have done so before. She said that she's been thinking recently about his behavior as it's gotten worse over the last few weeks. She's going to attempt to talk to him into therapy, and if he doesn't show any positive change, she's going to give him an ultimatum. Dale called me a slew of imaginative and colourful language today when I stopped by my parents to help my mum move some tables. And yes, they're all so entitled and lazy that they would rather watch a woman nearing her 60s with a hernia move heavy picnic tables than offer to help her. I just ignored it. My mum pulled me to the side after and told me that my dad called me yesterday, that he got into a fight with my brother about not being able to fend for himself, and now my brother has been given a 2-week time limit to move out. We both know it's not going to stick. My dad tried to call me today and acted like nothing happened, but I hung up on him and put my phone on silent for the rest of the day until he got the hint to stop calling. I wish I had more to add to this update, but that's it for now. But now I'm going to turn this one to you guys. What do you guys make of this situation? Let me know your thoughts down in the comments below, and let's move on to another story with an update. And this one's from Odd Kale, who says, am I the a-hole for telling my cousin nobody cares if she has a husband and kids? My cousin Amanda, 29 female, and I, 33 female, are very different. She is the typical trad wife. Ever since she was little, her goal was to be a housewife and have a husband and kids. She is really feminine and dresses up really modestly like one of those 1950s housewives. I'm different. I have a job at a law firm. I wear both feminine and masculine clothes. I'm career driven but also want a family someday. I always keep my hair short like a bob, and to be honest, even though she and I are different, I respect her wishes of being a housewife. That is her choice. So Amanda is a typical housewife who has a TikTok where she always talks about how being a homemaker and having a husband who provides for you is a blessing. That she is not some sad, ugly feminist who is enslaved in the job field. She often says that working for your husband is so much better than working for a boss or a company. Also, as women, we should go back to our biological roots and be a housewife and take care of the kids. She is also anti-abortion. All of this is something I ignore until it is a way to insult me. She hates that I work a corporate job and have a different life. She oftentimes tries to persuade me to quit and find a husband. She often brags about how much stress less her life and how happy she is as a homemaker. And also that I'm already pushing 40 and I need to start taking things seriously instead of being a carousel finder. First of all, what I do in my private life is none of her business. Secondly, she knows I'm not someone who has sex with every living being. What hurts the most is when she says that if I was a bit more feminine like her and not masculine, 2 of my ex-boyfriends wouldn't have cheated on me in the past. To be honest, I'm very tall, like 5'10", and I'm not fat, but have a little large body type. This has been going on for a long time. I brush it off every time I hear it. She always tries to scare like, oh, you know guys don't like women who are in their 30s. You should dress up like a girl. Your clock is ticking. I literally blocked her on social media. She also gossips a lot about me and other female members who have a career, that we are just sad spinsters who got sucked into the lies of feminism. So last week was my grandfather's birthday, and it is special because he beat cancer. All of our family was there, including Amanda, her husband Jerry, and her 2 kids, 7 male, 4 male. We were all chatting and having fun until my uncle asks about Eric, 34 male, my boyfriend. Before I could answer, Amanda makes a joke. Well, did he skip town already? I ask, what does she mean? And she says, well, your last 2 boyfriends left you. I was betting how long it would take. I just sat there trying to grasp what she said. She again went on a rant about how she made the right choice by getting married at 21 so she doesn't have to deal with dating nonsense, and how lucky she is, and it is all because she is not some street whore. I snapped at her and said literally nobody gives a fuck about her or a perfect family. Millions of people get married every year, so she's not some special snowflake. She has no identity besides being a housewife, which she only got because of her ring. She didn't achieve anything big. All she does is scroll through TikTok and social media and gossips with her equally shallow friends. And she needs to get over herself because she is not unique, because she got tied down, and leave us alone. The people in there were shocked. They all continued to party, but after I left I got a message from Amanda that I'm an asshole for yelling at her in front of her husband, and that being a so-called strong independent woman has made me bitter, and that I will die alone with cats. My aunt, her mum, also asked me to say sorry, and that just because I'm jealous of her daughter doesn't mean I had to scream like that. I'm just proving her daughter's point right. So, am I the arsehole? Some comments from OP on this one that said, she used to be a little passive aggressive about these comments, but ever since the Roe versus Wade debacle, she has been more direct. I mean, I am pro-choice. I think every woman should have the rights to their body, even if that means choosing not to have kids. She wants 6 kids. I do not think this is something wrong. Her husband can provide. Last week, I just lost it. What's worse is when I got cheated. Both of these times, she was supportive of me. She told me it was not my fault and that I deserve better. That moment I thought she might be annoying, but at least she has a good heart. I guess not. She thinks that a good woman is able to keep her man, and he would not cheat on her if she is a good wife. If he does, then she must not be caring for him. Her husband is rich. He has his own business, which pretty much is why she can afford her extravagant lifestyle. Then OP comes in with her update and says, hello guys, I didn't realize that I would get so much attention. Some of the comments were hilarious. Well, I have good news and bad news. The good news is that I found out that I am pregnant. Yay. That kind of explains why I lashed out rather than just ignoring Amanda's comments. My boyfriend proposed to me the moment he learned about the pregnancy. He further said he'd been planning on proposing to me 6 months ago, which would have happened on my birthday next month, but the pregnancy just seals the deal. He promised me that he would give me a better proposal. And about Amanda, we're not speaking yet, but there was a thing with her husband. You see, her husband and I are amicable, but not close. It is just a simple hi and hello, so I was shocked when I got an email from him. The email said that he was sorry for his wife's behavior at the dinner table. He kept saying that I do not deserve the treatment his wife gave. He pushed her a lot to apologize to me. And now, here is the kicker. He mentioned he kept a news article of me from 2 years ago. You see, 2 years ago, me and my friends volunteered to feed 100 homeless and poor people on Christmas. It was my idea, but my friends helped a lot. We organized the whole thing and paid for the stuff. I was the leader of this. The local newspaper picked up on the story and they did an interview. My picture was there with a small segment on the newspaper. Later on, the same newspaper did another interview when I volunteered at my local homeless shelter. I basically coached them to find a job and prepare them for interviews. Kinda like a life coach. Jerry, Amanda's husband, kept both of those papers with him. He said that he has always admired my drive and passion to help people. He's really swooned by it. He wishes his wife was like me. It really creeped me out. Tell me you do not find that creepy. Yesterday, my aunt, Amanda's mother, came to my home and accused me of seducing Jerry. She further said Amanda was crying because her husband fought with her after what she said to me. Her husband was adamant that she say sorry to me. And during their fight, he slipped it out that Amanda will never be as good as I am because she is a boring housewife while I am someone who is actually doing something that makes a difference. My mum asked me if Jerry ever tried to flirt with me. I didn't know what to say. I didn't mention the email because this will complicate the situation even more. My mum asked me to show my aunt the messages between Jerry and I so that she stops accusing me. I did. The last conversation I had with Jerry was in September 09, 2022, during Amanda's birthday. He wanted to check in if I was coming to the party or not. That's it. Like I said, I never had any serious conversation with him other than some hi and hello. I'm so confused now. I still haven't told my mum or anyone about my proposal or pregnancy. Edit. I think I should make it clear why I find Jerry's mail a little creepy. If it was just an apology on behalf of his wife, I would have got it. But it says he kept a news article from 2 years ago of me. Even I didn't keep that because it was a small segment where they wrote it. Also the fact that he never approached me about it. I've been doing charity work for 8 years now. He knows it but never approached me about it. He literally said he was swooned by me, which is why I find it a little creepy. But then again, you guys might be right. He was just being polite and I'm reading too much into it because I feel like it is my fault they're having a problem. But I will just stay out of it. And one more comment from OP who says, you could be right. The wording of his mail with my aunt saying Jerry and Amanda had a fight over me just made a genuine mail look creepy. Also, he was the last person I expected to keep my news article because he never cared about what I do. Now, the first part of the story when I was reading this and about her talking about how great her life is and all this sort of stuff, boasting on social media, it just always says to me that why you're on social media boasting about it kind of thing. I know some people are just happy to share and all this, but it always gives me vibes of like, you're not truly happy. And I know that's not always the case, but it certainly felt that way to me in this story. I was kind of wondering how much Jerry talks about OP at home, because it was also giving me those feels at the same time. But now I'm going to turn this one to you guys. What do you guys make of this situation? Let me know your thoughts down in the comments below. But let's move on to another story. Now this next story is a bit of a cheeky one from Robert, who cross-posted it on our own subreddit r/Mark Narrations and said, please Mark, for the love of waffles, read this. So we're going to read it. The title had me chuckling to myself straight away. From Born Over It from the Off My Chest subreddit, who says, accidentally text a video of my vagina to 8 people. Oh dear. Okay, let me explain. I had a baby duckling for 1 week and he's pretty adorable. He's been bonding with my golden retriever and following him around everywhere. My dog is always watching him and smiling. Now to my vagina. What a way to introduce it. I was taking a video outside of them when we were about to give my dog a bath. I was naked because it was the first warm and sunny day in a while and I was going to get wet from bathing my dog. So I was filming the duck running to me and watched him manage to step over the garden hose, which was a small exciting victory. So he ran to my feet and I was pointing the camera down and then I panned down to my vagina and said, Cooter cam. My cooter's on camera, and did a dance. Cooter dance happened 1:45 minutes in. This video was personal, never meant to be seen. 2 days later, I was going through all my pics and videos of my duck to send to my best friends and family. I watched the first 30 seconds and was like, oh, this is a good one to send. So I sent it to my 2 female best friends, my 2 male best friends, my dad, stepmom, sister, and brother-in-law. After I sent it, I watched the whole thing and sent a 911 text to them, telling them not to watch it and to delete it. So everyone did delete it, but I don't know who watched it. My 2 girlfriends watched it, my stepmom watched it, my sister probably watched it, but my 2 best guy friends said they didn't. I've been dying of laughter for days and I cannot stop cracking up. It's now an inside joke with my friends. I'm also embarrassed, but I'm just coasting with it and hoping it blows over. Oh, poor OP. Oh, he got away with words as well. Cooter cam. And it was the bit off the first paragraph where OP just says, now to my vagina. Casual like. And I love total randomness like that as well. You know, you sometimes get out of the shower and you spot yourself in the mirror and just crack out a dance move and you're like, what the fuck are you doing, Mark? Get on with your life. And I thought that was great. But what do you guys make of this little embarrassing story from OP there? Absolutely love it myself. But let me know your thoughts down in the comments below if you do have a moment of your time. And just a huge thank you for spending your time with me today, getting involved in the story you'll love. Support and time always means the absolute world to me. So thank you so much. And if you do have an extra moment of your time, there'll be a playlist at the very end of the video that you can click on and it will automatically scroll through all the videos for you. Thank you so much and hopefully we'll see you in the next one. Take care and much love.